My name is Danny. I'm 36, a software engineer living in San Francisco. Thought I had life under control. A good job, a comfortable apartment, and a wife cared for deeply. Her name was Stacy. We had been married for 3 years and, though it wasn't flawless, it felt steady. Just the normal ups and downs every marriage has. At least that's what I believed. Then Stacy threw herself into fitness journey. She had always liked yoga, but this time it turned into something much bigger. She hired a personal trainer named Ryan from a high-end gym downtown, and what started as a hobby soon became an obsession. First, I supported her. She seemed motivated and healthier. I even picked up more chores so she could focus on her training. Looked like a positive change. But slowly, things began to shift. Stacy wasn't just working out to feel good. She was doing to be admired. The gym became her whole world. She spent more hours there, more time with Ryan than with me. Her Instagram changed too. Posts about us disappeared, replaced by her transformation journey. Every caption was about self-love, fresh starts, and looking incredible. Strangers flooded the comments with praise like she was some fitness influencer. One evening I suggested a date night. It had been a while and I hoped we could reconnect. But she brushed me off, saying she had training early the next morning. A moment hit me hard. It wasn't just that. She was focused on herself. It felt like she'd forgotten we were a team. Then one morning it all collapsed. I was half awake, drinking coffee before work. Stacy sat across from me with her smoothie, scrolling her phone like nothing else mattered. Suddenly she stopped, set it down, and looked at me. Her face was serious, almost cold. I deserve more in life, she said. Still groggy, I asked. More of what? She didn't flinch. This marriage is holding me back, Danny. Filing for divorce. I thought she was joking. I even laughed. But her eyes told me she wasn't. She was dead serious. I've outgrown this, she added, like I was an old piece of furniture she no longer needed. I was frozen. The woman I'd been building a life with just shattered it. Like it meant nothing. My shock turned to anger. What do you mean outgrown this? I asked, my voice rising. I sighed, almost annoyed. I've been working on myself, becoming the best version of me. And honestly, this life doesn't match my potential. I want more than this house. This routine, more than you. Her words cut deep. She grabbed her gym bag and walked out without a goodbye. I sat there, staring at the half-empty smoothie she'd left behind, trying to process what had just happened. That day at work blurred past me. All I could think about was Stacy. Divorce. It felt sudden, like she'd planned it long before saying it out loud. The next few days were unbearable. Came home late, always saying she'd been the gym. But I knew it wasn't just about fitness anymore. She was building a new life, and I wasn't part of it. A week later, she confirmed my fear. She had already filed for divorce. No talks, no attempts to work things out. She had moved on with Ryan. Soon she wasn't even trying to hide it. Photos of them together popped up on social media. Looked radiant, flaunting her new life, while our marriage vanished in public. Comments poured in, congratulating her glow up. It was like she was parading how fast she had erased me. Ryan wasn't just her trainer anymore. He was her new everything. And I was nothing. Phila couldn't stop blaming myself. Did I focus too much on work? Did I fail her somehow? I tried to talk, to understand. She shut me down each time. The truth became undeniable when she handed me the divorce papers. It was over. My wife, my partner, was gone. She'd chosen a new life, a new identity, and a new man to share it with. I stayed in the house, unable to force her out until lawyers sorted the mess. All I could do was face the wreckage. The more I learned about Ryan, the more furious I became. He wasn't just some trainer. Lawyer Mark, who worked tirelessly for me, dug into Ryan's past. Turns out Ryan had a history of this. Twice before he had targeted married women, showered them with attention, urged them to leave their husbands, then drained them emotionally and financially before disappearing. He wasn't a lover. He was a predator. Stacy, desperate for validation, was his perfect target. But it wasn't just her money at risk. He wanted mine too. Stacy thought she'd walk into court, play the victim, and walk out rich, ready to build her dream life with Ryan. But she didn't count on Mark. He had gathered evidence. I wasn't going to fold. The morning after the storm broke, Stacy blended one of her green smoothies, the kind she flaunted on Instagram. But this time she wasn't mug. She wasn't confident. She casually mentioned Ryan being busy with new clients, fishing for a reaction. He stayed silent. I refused to give her that satisfaction. A week later, Mark called with updates. Stacy had filed new papers, demanding more assets. She filed another claim, this time saying our marriage caused her emotional distress. In reality, she was trying to pin her midlife crisis on me. Mark was ready with a counter, proving Stacy had been draining our joint accounts to fund her lavish lifestyle, twisting the situation for her own benefit. He even presented her Instagram posts flaunting her new life with Ryan. Then suddenly Ryan disappeared. He stopped showing up for sessions, ignored her calls, and blocked her on social media. Stacy unraveled. Could hear her pacing the apartment, calling him again and again. Ryan, call me back. We need to talk. Her desperate voice cracked, but the truth was obvious to everyone but her. Ryan had already moved on to a younger woman, one without divorce baggage. Stacy's Instagram, once her stage for showing off, went dark. She stopped going to the gym. One night, she approached me at the door, her voice fragile, asking if we could reconsider everything, as if none of this had happened. I just stared at her, stunned. What was she trying to pull? Aside, trying to sound pitiful, saying maybe we rushed into divorce. But I wasn't buying. She was the one who filed. She was the one who claimed I held her back. Now, with Ryan gone, she wanted a redo. She played the victim, saying she was lonely and had given up so much. Wasn't fooled. I reminded her of her choices, that she picked Ryan and all that came with him. You made your bed, Stacy. Now lie in it, I told her. Her dream world was crumbling, and I didn't need to lift a finger. Karma was doing the work. When court day arrived, Stacy walked in without her usual confidence. Her steps were slow, uncertain. Her lawyer, a slick city guy, looked uneasy too. On my side, Mark stood firm, armed with a thick binder of evidence. I wasn't nervous. This was about truth. Stacy's lawyer tried to spin her as a neglected wife, emotionally worn out by my supposed lack of support. They even argued my hesitation about her fitness obsession and Ryan was neglect. Mark calmly dismantled everything, showing texts where I supported Stacy, offered to join her, shifted my schedule, and picked up extra chores. Then he hit them with the real evidence, screenshots of Stacy mocking me to her friends, calling me useless baggage, and bragging that Ryan was her ticket to a new life. Mark even presented a journal entry where she outlined her plan to leave me, grab as much as she could, and run off with Ryan. The judge's face said it all, shock and disgust. He looked directly at Stacy. Your claims of emotional distress are baseless. The evidence shows Mr. Sullivan gave unwavering support. Then came the financials. Mark revealed bank records, proving Stacy siphoned over $15,000 from our accounts for her luxuries. The judge was blunt. This is reckless behavior and a violation of marital duty. The ruling was clear. The house stayed mine and Stacy was ordered to repay $115,000 for the unauthorized withdrawals. Stacy's face drained of color. Her world collapsed. Right there. When it was over, Mark patted me on the back. We had won. Few days later, Stacy packed up and left. Watching her drive off felt strangely satisfying. She had burned her bridges and was left to face her own ruin. 2 weeks after the ruling, she showed up, unannounced. She looked broken, hair messy, eyes red, clothes wrinkled. Polished image she once flaunted was gone. "Danny," she whispered, voice shaking. "Can we talk?" I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. "What do you want, Stacy?" She hesitated, wringing her hands. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. Let Ryan manipulate me. I got lost in a fantasy, and I destroyed what we had." Her words sounded rehearsed, but the desperation in her eyes was real. She wasn't here out of love. She had no other place to go. "I don't know what you expect me to say," I told her calmly. "You chose Ryan. You tried to take everything from me. Now you're living with the consequences." Tears filled her eyes. "Can we at least be civil? Maybe start over?" she asked. But I stood firm. "I gave you my love, trust, and support. You threw it all away. You don't get a second chance. That's not how this works." Broke down sobbing on my porch, but I didn't bend. I stepped back inside and closed the door, leaving her with her regrets. Since then I've moved on. My apartment feels peaceful now, free of tension and resentment. Stacy, I've heard, is still struggling. She's lost friends, burned every bridge, and is left to face her reality alone. Sometimes karma doesn't just knock, it breaks down the door. For Stacy, it left nothing but the weight of her own choices.